Welcome to Human Jigsaw, the program that looks at how people live in parts of the world we sometimes consider tribal or primitive. I want to see if there's anything to be learnt about the way we live, clues to be gained about why we do things from people who are supposed to be less advanced than us. In this program, I want to look at one aspect of what Britain's famous for, kids. All over the world, British youth have become noted for rebel music, disrespect and breaking traditions. When puberty comes, is it only in our so-called civilized, complex, big society that adolescence is such a phenomenon and worrying problem? I've been out exploring for Human Jigsaw on a safari into British punk territory, and at first sight it can appear there are amazing similarities between how outrageous our kids look and some tribal society. Or is it just a fascination with hair among young people the world over? I come back to this room puzzling at the obvious question. Is there outrageous, individualistic, punk-like behaviour among so-called primitive tribes? One of the things I've had to learn in my studies is that in a small-scale society, the structures of life are rigid, formal, exact, and expected to be adhered to. They have few deviants. In this programme, I'll be looking at two tribes from East Africa who seem to have a formula for dealing with their teenagers. The Rendille and the Maasai. If you're a member of either of these two tribes, you'd know exactly what to expect as each stage of your life passes. It's clearly signposted. These are the Rendille, and they're nomads, scattered over 10,000 square miles of scrub in hospitable country. They grow no crops. The most important possession are the camels, the only animal that can eat desert thorn bushes and turn prickles to milk and meat. Big, smelly creatures. The young men are sent to herd them. Every young Rendille must go to look after the camels, to live it rough. The only food most days, the only drink will be from the camel, 4 pints of fresh milk and blood mixed like liquid black pudding off the hoof. They have it for breakfast and drink it for tea. This country is so rough, the camel's so important. The Rendille have a strong belief only men may milk the camel. They say no woman shall ever touch the udder of a camel. The young herdsmen return only 4 times a year for the big village festivals. The lads sing and dance. They pogo dance. Jumping dancing seems to cross centuries and continents. They're glad to be back. For all these camel years, the Rendille youth must not marry, nor must they father children, nor take a home of their own in the village. Like it or lump it, the camel herding has to be done out in the desert. One young Rendille was asked about his 14 years. You ask about my 14 years? I tell you, when will it end? I'm fed up with camel camping, and I want to be an elder. 14 years is a long time. They don't all stay out that long. I've watched all this film of tribesmen being filmed at all hours of the day and night by our camera crews. I wonder, what do they make of it? I mean, imagine opening your tent in the desert in the morning and there's a film crew with all that advanced technology staring at you. This one, in translation, he says, "All right, how much are you going to pay me for this filming?" And I bet they didn't. Camels are the treasure for the tribe. So the youth do the most important job, looking after them. A hard life in a tough country, but their young have a proper purpose. And they know when it'll end exactly, when at a great ceremony they'll be welcomed back to their village and allowed to marry, be able to tell exciting stories of their camel days to their children. We can't. We don't work at all in the same way. But it used to happen in Britain. An apprenticeship lasted 7 years or 5 years. And as well as learning your trade, you were assigned to a man and learnt about other things. Comradeship, how to behave, how to deal with the foreman, how to put on a bet, how to talk back and keep your job. But apprenticeship is no longer a universal way of life for our people. There is no way of life. Some youths do this, and some do that, and a lot of ours do nothing. I went to a little garden to meet a big lad called Chad, who'd said he was proud to be punk. Along with a lot of our youth, he'd been driven in a kind of desperation to sign on a government training scheme, digging old-age pensioners' gardens. But what was important was punk.
I wasn't into nothing before I was a punk, so I didn't know nothing, so this was the first thing, the music way, punk, so I don't know anything else. I never wanted to know anything else, so that means, I always loved it. I always want to carry on, being it, liking it.
How long do you think you can carry on and be a punk?
I don't know, really. As long as you want, I suppose, as long as you want. You could tell.
There isn't going to be a day when it's going to end?
Oh, no. A lot of people called it dead years ago, but, we're still here, aren't we, so... Can't be dead. Might end one day, but the spirit will always be there.
And the spirit will be there inside you?
Yeah, I reckon it will be. Say if I change one day, I might change my dress, but in my mind, I reckon it'll still be there, the same beliefs and everything. You don't have to dress like a punk to be a punk, do you? Punk's for everybody.
So what is the punk in the head?
Well, no, really. What do you mean by that? The beliefs?
The beliefs.
Well, punk's being what you want to be, and thinking what you want, so... And an individual, so... Every punk has probably their own beliefs, so I can't say what other punk believes in, You can only just say what you believe in,
You've got the belief that you shouldn't kill animals?
Yeah.
What other belief?
Same with people, you don't kill people. One's like the other, everybody's got their rights, animals got their rights. Just that we take a bit away from them, Shouldn't, It's the best thing what's happened to me anyway, so... Because nobody's ever done that for me. Nobody. So ever since I left school, I've had a proper job, no proper job at all. I worked in a co-op for 6 months. And that was just cheap labour, so I had no one to respect then. Then I went on this, and I'm just doing it from my own will, volunteering, So there's nobody to respect anyway.
Chad says there's nobody I respect. There's not much of a place for Chad. There is for the Rendille youth, and for the second tribe we're going to meet. For them, respect is what life's all about. These are the young Maasai of Kenya, sent by their elders for 7 years to be young warriors, Maasai Moran. At their most disruptive adolescent time, they must not live in the village. What do they think of being a Moran?
Very good. When you're a child, you don't know much. But as a Moran, you become clever. You visit new places far away. You get to know how to defend yourself. You mature. Moranhood is very good. It's a time for learning. It's like when townspeople send a child to school. A Moran learns much of importance. He learns to defend himself and to travel by night. He can brave hunger. He can face hardship. A man who hasn't served as a Moran is not very clever. He's like a child in Europe who's not been sent to school. The men of his age group don't respect him.
It was a tradition for each Maasai Moran to kill a lion in single combat to earn his colours. They still kill meat away from the village in the forest for festivals. The only company they're allowed in the bush are immature girls. Some of them do sneak back at night, sometimes into the villages, some of them to make love to young wives of the elders who they do respect. It's quite understood that goes on, as it went on among their fathers before them. But the young Maasai Moran must never stay in the village during their Moranhood. It's out in the bush, mess about with each other, learn from your own age set, just like ours do, but outside, not in the parents' bedroom.
Why not? Give me in for
Back in Britain, here is Liz doing Little's hair in a fellow punk's parents' house. Is there any significance to the number of spikes? The others watch. And you've not got a job?
No.
What do you want to do?
Well, I'm a trained maintenance fitter.
But no jobs?
No.
We don't want to know, do they? As soon as they see your hair.
Ah. So do you think they'd want to know if your hair was different?
Probably,
yeah. You go
yeah.
in all smart and respectable, then you think, oh, he's a nice person, don't I? But see, if you walk in like this, I think, no, just a job. That's what they think, though, isn't it?
So, maybe you're being deliberate yobs?
No.
No.
It's our life, isn't it? It's up to us what we want to do. People just can't accept it.
This is more important than getting a job?
Yeah, to me it is. I don't see why it should change for anybody. Because it's just as if you're black. You can't go in and change your colour, can you?
I don't want a job anyhow to work to make profit for someone else. If I was going to have a job, it'd be working for myself, not for someone else.
So it's not just pretty, is it? It's serious. It's an outward and visible sign of serious punkhood.
You shouldn't clash as what you look like. Because that's what they do.
But I can spot you coming down the street.
Yeah, but just because I look like this, don't mean I'm not able to work.
Liz and Little, two people who live with their mum and dad. Just nice, ordinary young folk. And of a Friday night, it's traditional among Liz and Little and their group of punks to go for a drink at a pub in the centre of town that specialises for their tastes in imported lager and for the girls, Pernod and blackcurrant. We glorify rebellion, being young as a state that can go on all your life, young at heart. That's the difference. If you're a Maasai Moran, you know after 7 years, certain as eggs is eggs, you'll not be young, you'll be an elder. We don't have that age of majority anymore. 21 today, it's gone. Yesterday's custom. It's gone as having any significance because in Britain you can drink and vote at 18, drive and get married at 16. So different. Among these Maasai Moran, it's exact for them. The 7 years in the bush, then you return to society. You return to society and a position in society. There's a ritual to welcome the end of being young. They have a last fling. Jump with an extra lion's mane headdress on top of the long hair. A coming out party in full war paint for the very last time. Around the lads like groupies to a pop star, immature girls scream until the elders say, come on, over here. And the women shave the locks of the young and ochre the bald pate. It's over, being a kid. Finished. They don't like it. Being told to sit down and shut up. Getting the parish council to spray them. But you can get married now. Come back to live in the village and join the junior rank of elders to help govern the village. They'll be respected after the riot act's read to them. So they listen, then stand to it. You've joined the club, you're a man, an adult now. At the end of a period of years, will our punks have had their hair cut by the Lord Mayor on the Guildhall steps? That's not what they said to me. Chad in the garden said he'd be a punk forever. Punk in the head. Little, having his hair put up by Liz, was deliberately making it difficult for any employer to set him on in a proper job. If jobs come back, there's the rub. No jobs, no role, no status, but to be an irritant. Forever. Here are my punks singing in their band at practice, in the attic of one of their mothers. The words of the song they've written themselves. Children too thin to feed, as the arms race takes a stride. People are just too frightened to take a look outside, trapped in a lust for greed. So sad songs to be so world-weary, so young. Here comes Riley in his territory with his pal Hazy. They have a philosophy they've latched on to anti-vivisection and vegetarianism, which makes life extra difficult for them to find boots and non-leather straps and avoid eating burgers.
Nothing absurder than a murder burger.
There's nothing absurder than a murder burger, says Riley. No ice cream, no chip muffins cooked in animal fat.
Riley, look at me and tell me what you think it means to you.
What? Punk? Well, everything. That's all I've got left. Well, it's all I've ever had, really. Like, I'm in a band. All my mates are punks. I like punk music. I like the opinions.
What opinions?
Well, things like anti-vivisection and peace. Things like that.
I mean, you talk of peace, but when I look at you, it looks aggressive.
So you're saying I'm threatening in my behaviour and the way I talk and I dress?
Just in the way that you dress.
So you feel threatened now?
No, but I wouldn't do if I didn't know you personally.
Why?
I don't know. I can't explain why. But you look.
Well, that's what you're told by the media all the time. Explains. Bother boys, boots, cropped hair, spiky hair, studs, whatever. That's what you're told by the media, which you work for.
But it looks heavy.
You're taking it all in. Do you think it looks heavy? What looks heavy?
His belt.
Yeah,
his handcuffs.
I do a lot
No,
more
he's saying
I mean,
that, oh, this is
I find handcuffs.
this is the macho, violent image, isn't it, you're saying? Well, it isn't, is it?
I'm not saying it. I'm asking.
I might have been beaten up by football fans or something, but I don't think I'm scared of you just because you've got a scarf on. You know, I don't judge anyone by what they dress, but people dress, you know, people judge us by how we dress. Definite.
Have you been set upon?
Sometimes, yeah.
Have you, Riley?
Yeah, quite a few times. But that's mainly because I'm a target, because, like, with me being smaller than the rest.
How about you?
Yeah, same as well. Exactly the same.
You've all been set upon and had to defend yourselves.
Well, I can't
Yeah,
because I'm
most
soft
times.
anyway, so I just get levered.
Most of the chance they don't give you. Most of the time they don't give you a chance to like retaliate.
It's not
They
usually
just smack you
fair.
on.
It's not usually fair fight, is it?
Never is, in fact. Because we never start anything anyway.
And they kick you when you're down.
And if if there's ever we know there's anything gonna go off like fighting or anything, we try and keep a low profile or go. But in circumstances like where we get caught, we just get hurt or don't know.
What does your mother think of you?
It's all right. Not bothered. She's used to it now.
Mine don't, mine still hate me.
Yours hate you?
Yeah, really hate me. Like when I get home sometimes, and there's never any tea there, out like that.
It's a mess.
That's how much they hate me. I'm saying they really hate me. And say I knock on the door, right, they open it and they go, oh, it's only you. Like, and for example, in our house, there's photos, you know, when we've been kids and all that. There's one of my oldest sister, and there's three of my youngest sister, and there's none of me. You know, things like that. Is it just because, you know, when we're being a punk?
No wonder the world watches British youth. Just by being, they frighten some people. You get close to them, and my punks turned out to be vegetarian pacifists. In our complex world, so full of arguments of reason, words of progress, the punks are almost incoherent, deliberately, maybe. What I find so awful is their potential energy and avowed idealism goes to waste. We, the elders, offer our young now nothing. No structure, no status, no job, no end to being punk in the head. We offer nothing compared to the simpler, small-scale society of the Maasai or the Rendille tribes of East Africa. Punks are at the extreme of our many kinds of young people. To find those who swim in the latest commercial craze, I met this crew of body poppers on a square of lino in the suburbs. Were they happy? How do they see being young in Britain today?
When I've talked to some young people, like punks, you know, they think they're going to be punks forever. But body popping's not like that.
No, it's not like that, because punks, you can't really see them getting a job. You know, with hair all different colours and everything, and Mohicans. If I was a manager or somewhere, I wouldn't give one a job. I was like, say you worked in a bakery or something, or you owned a bakery, you know, and a punk comes in with all his hair spiked up to work. People are going to think, I'm not getting served by it. But our dress is sort of natural and that. We don't look way out at anything. We look normal like anyone else.
So this body popping dancing is a big part of your life?
More or less now it is, yeah.
Yeah. Turn professional, you get a lot of money for it, don't you?
But you're not turning professional, you're amateurs, you're just kids who do it.
Yeah, but we've asked to be, you know, we've asked to do gigs for people, and people have asked us already. Because we've got one, maybe at the PCM, a local club down Cleveland's Road.
If I got a job now, I'd probably stop it all.
Yes,
There's got to be some jobs about, hasn't there? There's not that many about, but we've got to find one.
Does it make you angry?
At times, you know, like no money and everything, and you see all your mates going out for a drink and everything.
Yeah, Saturday night.
Yeah.
Who do you think's responsible for that? Danny?
No idea. Well, they say the government and that, but it can't really be the government, Margaret Thatcher and that, because there's no jobs at all to get. Like I was saying that time when I was in the cafe, if all the taxes and that they're getting, they could build more places with more jobs for more people. Then it'd be getting more people jobs, wouldn't it? So it can't really be anyone's fault, we don't really know. It's just everybody's fault, I think.
There's nobody you blame?
No one knows.
Is there anybody you look up to, Jim?
What, in body popping? Or what?
Anybody you look up to as a man, as a respected person, you think, I'd like to be that in 10 years' time?
Real?
For you, Danny?
No, no one.
No one?
What do you mean, like job-wise, what we'd like to do? Your
or
job.
sport-wise?
Your job.
My job?
Yeah. Sitting here talking to people, that's all right, isn't it?
Welcome to Human Jigsaw, the program that looks at how people live in parts of the world we sometimes consider tribal or primitive. I want to see if there's anything to be learnt about the way we live, clues to be gained about why we do things from people who are supposed to be less advanced than us. In this program, I want to look at one aspect of what Britain's famous for, kids. All over the world, British youth have become noted for rebel music, disrespect and breaking traditions. When puberty comes, is it only in our so-called civilised, complex, big society that adolescence is such a phenomenon and worrying problem? I've been out exploring for Human Jigsaw on a safari into British punk territory, and at first sight it can appear there are amazing similarities between how outrageous our kids look and some tribal society. Or is it just a fascination with hair among young people the world over? I come back to this room puzzling at the obvious question. Is there outrageous, individualistic, punk-like behaviour among so-called primitive tribes? One of the things I've had to learn in my studies is that in a small-scale society, the structures of life are rigid, formal, exact, and expected to be adhered to. They have few deviants. In this programme, I'll be looking at two tribes from East Africa who seem to have a formula for dealing with their teenagers. The Rendille and the Maasai. If you're a member of either of these two tribes, you'd know exactly what to expect as each stage of your life passes. It's clearly signposted. These are the Rendille, and they're nomads, scattered over 10,000 square miles of scrub in hospitable country. They grow no crops. The most important possession are the camels, the only animal that can eat desert thorn bushes and turn prickles to milk and meat. Big, smelly creatures. The young men are sent to herd them. Every young Rendille must go to look after the camels, to live it rough. The only food most days, the only drink will be from the camel, 4 pints of fresh milk and blood mixed like liquid black pudding off the hoof. They have it for breakfast and drink it for tea. This country is so rough, the camel's so important. The Rendille have a strong belief only men may milk the camel. They say no woman shall ever touch the udder of a camel.